Hey guys, Alex Newman here with The New American. I am with a very special guest, Mark Morgan, former acting head of Customs and Border Protection. He actually was overseeing the border wall during the Trump administration. He is now a visiting fellow with Heritage and FAIR. He's got an incredible background also with Justice Strategic Consulting. Mark, thank you very much for being with us. We're at the border right now, basically. We're in Texas, in McAllen. What is going on there right now that people across America need to know?
I think two things. One is that the Biden administration inherited the most secure border in our lifetime. And immediately after taking office, with the stroke of a political pen and driven by what I really think are ideologic motives and desires, destroyed the border. I mean, right now, we are facing the most catastrophic invasion on our southwest border that we've seen in our lifetime. What I refer to this border right now, it's like the wild, wild west.
So you said you thought this was deliberate. Why do you think they want this kind of situation?
Yeah, I think that's the question. And I don't think it gets asked enough. You know, another patriot, Tom Homan and I, we talk frequently, and we've both served for this country for 35 years. We've served under 6 administrations, both Republican and Democrat. At the end of the day, because what they're doing makes no other sense, because they have destroyed this border. It's negatively impacting every aspect of our nation's public safety, health, and national security. I can draw no other conclusion except they're doing it because they see a perceived political benefit. And I think that's two fronts. One is we know now that illegal aliens are counted as part of the census. So they're playing the long game, and they think they're going to get a redistribution of House seats and actually get additional seats. And at the end of the day, I think this administration and the Democrats feel that every illegal alien that they find a pathway to citizenships, they believe that's going to equate to a Democratic vote. This is about politics, and it's disgusting.
Wow. And so you mentioned that this is an issue on the national security front as well. Explain that.
Yeah, so that's another great question. I really appreciate it. And a lot of that's missed because I think this administration, open border advocates, do this by design, is that they want to tell American people, want them to believe that we've got illegal immigration over here, and then we've got this separate thing called border security. And that's just not true. This is first and foremost about border security, of which illegal immigration is just a subset. And it's a subset of a vast set of complex threats that we face from outside our borders. But when you open your borders up to one crisis or one threat, in this case, 2 million encounters in a 12-month period, the large area of the border, because the resources are pulled away. So large areas of the border go unsecured, unpatrolled, and unmonitored. So what happens? The cartels use those gaps, they exploit it, pouring drugs into this country, gang members in this country, and criminal aliens in this country, and our increase to our national security vulnerability. And real quick, just give you one more stat. The last 12 months, Border Patrol have apprehended illegal aliens, 14 that were on the FBI's terror screening database. 14. And here's another real quick number that this administration won't tell you about is the gotaways. So because the Border Patrol resources are pulled off, 600,000 gotaways in the last 12 months. So we don't know who's entering.
Wow, unbelievable. And one of the subjects here at this conference that we're at has been the human trafficking issue that really the most of the media is just completely ignoring. In your experience, is that a serious issue? Is that something the media should be talking about, the smuggling of human beings for either forced labor or sexual purposes across the border? Is that a real issue?
It is a real issue. And again, it's another issue, I agree with you, that's not talked about by the mainstream media. I think it's on purpose. You don't hear this administration talking about it as well. And look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that if you have, exponentially increased the number of those that are being smuggled illegally across, again, historic highs in our lifetime, well, guess what? Guess what also expands? Human trafficking, right? When you have 2 million encounters in a 12-month period, just think of the exponential increase to those that are being trafficked. Look, we know that there's a good chunk of the migrants that are being illegally smuggled into the country. Guess what? They're also being trafficked at the same time. A lot of them just don't know it until they've already been released in the United States. I'll give you a quick example. Someone is smuggled, they go, and all of a sudden the cartels come back to them when they're in the United States after they've been released and say, you know what? You owe us another $5,000. So they illegally say, I don't have it. Well, this is how you're going to pay it off, right? And hence the trafficking starts.
Wow, how horrific. in your view, what are the solutions? I mean, okay, we got Biden administration for at least 3 more years. Can Congress do something? Can the states do something? Can the American people do something? Or are we just stuck with an open border for 3 years at least?
So all three. And so this is what we need. So we keep saying 2022 matters, and it does. But look, that's not the end all to be on. If we get people that in Congress that understand the importance of border security, what they're going to be able to do is at least slow down what this administration is doing. The House, through the power of the purse, right, through appropriations, they can hold their feet to the fire, but they're still not going to be able to erase their ability to continue to destroy this border 100%. And that's why the second thing that needs to happen now, because we can't wait for 2022 to end and for the election to happen, states need to get involved. Look, the great state of Texas, right where we're in right now, you've got the AG Paxton and you have Governor Abbott. That is hands down, those two gentlemen have done more in their positions than any other state in this country to fill the gap left by this administration to secure the border. And they're not just protecting the great state of Texas. Their efforts are actually protecting this entire country. And the last thing is, anyone listening right now, get out. Contact your state legislators, contact your AG, contact your governor, demand that they get involved to do what they need to do to protect this country.
Yeah, I'm from Florida, and our governor has spoken loudly and clearly about this. In fact, he proposed a bill to send a lot of the illegal immigrants to Delaware and Martha's Vineyard.
Governor DeSantis has done a great job as well.
He has, and I was going to ask you about that. He's sent some lawmen here to help out on the border. The other Republican governors, most states have Republican governors. Even the non-border states, what would you say they should be doing right now?
What they need to do is continue to educate the citizens of their state and remind them that what happens on the southwest border doesn't stay on the southwest border. That again, it's about border security, that illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. That when you, and I really call, when you've got 3 million, 2 million encounters, 600,000 gotaways, and 400,000 turnbacks, as the name suggests, turn back to avoid apprehension, that's 3 million migrants that are trying to break into our country in a 12-month period. And again, it doesn't stay on the southwest border. What happens, the drugs pouring in, the gang members, the criminal aliens, they make their way to every town, city, and state in this country. The governors need to educate themselves, educate their citizens that what happens on the southwest border comes to their town and their state. I guarantee you, if you have anybody, a 15-year-old girl that went to a party and tried a pill because their friends told them to and was laced with fentanyl and she died, which is happening every single day. 100,000 Americans died from drug overdoses in a 12-month period. I guarantee you that fentanyl came from the southwest border. We've got to get educated and understand that what happens at the southwest border doesn't stay there. It jeopardizes our entire country.
Before we let you go, do you have any kind of hope or words of wisdom that you want to share with us? I know there's a lot of conservatives that feel really demoralized right now. Are there reasons to be optimistic?
That's a tough one. What I will say is I'm going to say yes because I am an optimist, but I also live in the realm of the reality. For my optimism, I think to come to fruition, some things have to happen. Again, we have to get leaders in Congress that understands the importance of border security. If we do that, then we can take specific action. There are specific legislative actions that need to be taken. And here's another thing. We know how to secure the border. We were doing it under President Trump. Yeah. Again, he inherited the most secure border in our lifetime. We're getting more secure every single day. We know how to do it. If we get the right people in Congress to pass legislation, we can make it happen.
Excellent. Well, Mark Morgan, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll be back soon.